everyone. How are you? I'm good. I received some questions from students, so today I will talk about the one of the questions um, in this video clip. So when can we use the row.names parameter in R? So I prepared some representative example using the Excel file dataset. So please look at this screen. So when you look at first one, the dataset has only integer numbers per each column, right? But in the second Excel file, we have our the person's name in the first column, right? So we also distinguish per each rows with this person's name, right? So we can control each person with the person's name separately using row.names parameter. So we will compare two cases in RStudio together. Okay. Before exercise, please look at the Excel file together. So, as I talked to you before, you can get a difference between two Excel files, right? So, in this case, there is the person's name in the first column, right? So, naturally, we can distinguish it, each rows with this first the last name. So, this person has a body temperature with this number and gender, number 1. For example, woman. In case of the 1 is the woman, 2 is the man, for example, right? And we can get the heartbeat rate of the person, right? So the last name Che, this person has these values, right? So similarly, we can note each person's information, 9 persons information like that. But in this case, there is no person's name, right? So if we read this Excel file in RStudio, with this comment, we can get, sorry, I mean this one. Yeah, no. Oh yeah, this one. But yeah, this one, because this Excel file is named data file .csv, right? So I can read this Excel file with this comment, and then I can check the result. Even though there's no index number in Excel file, RStudio automatically puts the distinguishable index front part of the per load, right? So if we put row dot names equals true, we can get some error. There is the distinguishable index automatically in the result, so you don't need to use this one, right? So in this case, you can only use the row.names parameter with this grammar. So what's the mean? you can learn about the vector concept in detail in this week, first week, right? So using concatenate function, we can make a vector. So this vector includes the person's name, for example, 9%, right? So we can change the row index with these names. So after this comment, if you check this one, we can recognize the index number is changed to the person's name, the first name, right? So after that, we can recognize each row with this person's name, right? So my point is, you can use the row.names parameter with concatenate vector function C sometimes for changing from number to the string, right? But if you consider another case, this one, so second Excel file, the name is the data file, comma, underbar row.csv, right? So the front point is the first Excel file did not have underbar row, right? But the second Excel file has the underbar row in the Excel file name. So I distinguishes the two Excel files. And then I also put the each person last name in first column, right? So in this case, if you read this Excel file in RStudio, this one, we can check the result together, and then finally we can get the first names, not first name, last names with the data sets in RStudio. But please look at these numbers too. So similar to the previous ones, RStudio automatically puts the index number in the front part of the each row, right? But if you use row.names equals 1, in this case, we can only get the last names for the rows names in this case. So in this, this means if data file has the rows name naturally in the front part of the data set, we can use the rows name, use this column, right? So in this case, RStudio doesn't need to put the number index in the front part, right? So we wanted to the first column data sets to the rows name naturally, right? So in this case, you can use the row.names equal to number 1, all right? So please compare two Excel files difference, and then please exercise read the read.table or CSV function with the row.names parameter with enough time, all right? So flexibly, naturally, sometimes you use the row.names equal to 1, or you can use the row.names with the C function, all right? So you can also exercise this one and copy and paste in your Word file, and then you can also submit your assignments for this week homework, all right? Okay, that's it. In future, I will also check your questions and answers directory, or sometimes I can make the video clip for broadcasting to many students. All right. So please ask any questions in uh, the SMS or email or iCampus message and so on. All right. Thank you for listening. See you next video clip. Bye bye.